Wrestling with Siblings. I'm your host, Araceli, and this is my co-host, Armando.
Hi guys, I'm Armando and welcome to Wrestling with Siblings. And we're starting off with Money in the Bank. All I gotta say is wow, what a pay-per-view. What a great way to start the first pay-per-view of the wrestling year in the WWE.
Exactly. The women's Money in the Bank ladder match starts off this amazing pay-per-view.
Not only that, but there was a lot of huge surprises throughout the pay-per-view. Stay tuned and we'll let you guys know how the pay-per-view went.
We'll go through everything. Alright, let's get started with the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. Super competitive. There was a lot of talent in this match. For those of you that don't know the competitors, it was going to be Carmella, Ember Moon, Natalya, Dana Brooke, Naomi, Nikki Cross.
Which was replacing Alexa Bliss.
Yeah, she was replacing Alexa Bliss, and I don't think I missed any. Oh, and
Bayley.
Bayley. There you go. She's the one that I was missing. Fantastic match. You really got to give it up to everybody. I feel like the one that actually really stole the show was Ember Moon. I feel like she really showcased herself and what she can do in the ring and what she's made of in this match.
Yeah, she went above and beyond and to try to win do whatever it takes to win the Money in the Bank. And I mean, she did off Eclipse off the top of the ladder.
Yeah.
Which was pretty amazing.
I was absolutely impressed with her. I mean, Natalya was just pretty much there to help carry the women's division during this match, and Ember was the one that showcased herself. Mandy, super impressive as well, but she was the smart one because she kept herself as far away from that match as she possibly could, and she was picking and choosing her spots and when she wanted to make a move.
Another thing too, she had Sonya Deville on her corner, which was a huge advantage over the other women. But keep in mind, I thought Sonya Deville was going to turn on her at some point just because of the differences they had in the past and just the way Sonya Deville let Mandy Rose get into the match. She pretty much gave her the option you could go ahead and be in the match.
Yeah, which is not something you usually do. Yes, they were, a pairing, a tag team, I guess, if you want to call it. But at the end of the day, Sonya handed her the opportunity. And if you really look back at their history, there has been times when they have disagreed, and it was like, okay, this is the perfect opportunity for Sonya Deville to turn.
Yeah, and I thought she was going to do it when Sonya Deville was carrying Mandy Rose on her shoulders up the ladder. I thought she was just going to turn on her right there in that very moment. But also, Dana Brooke was very, very close in winning the title. She pretty much was hanging off.
The title? The Money in the Bank.
The Money in the Bank, I'm sorry.
Yeah, the Money in the Bank. She was dangling from the top, and I was just like, that's it. Just let your weight come down.
You can't get off.
Yeah, just drop down, and you got it, Dana. You got this. She was my pick, as well as Bayley. And Bayley, the Money in the Bank winner, she pretty much stole it. She took it, but in reality, she deserved it. This was her chance. This was her opportunity. And if it wasn't now, it was going to be never.
Yeah, and I'm so happy for Bayley just because she deserves this. She has worked her butt off to get to where she's at, and what better way than to win the Money in the Bank. And now she has a huge opportunity to cash in whenever she wants.
Exactly. She can cash in anytime, anywhere, any night, any champion.
And not only that, but Bayley is our hometown hero.
Exactly.
And that makes it even more special because we are happy for her that she won, and the way she won it was amazing.
Yes. So Armando's pick was Bayley, so was mine, but I kind of chose somebody else simply so that we can keep it a little different. And we were like, yeah, for sure Bayley. After Alexa was taken out, we were kind of forced to make a different decision there. And we were like, okay, I think Bayley is the logical choice. And so glad we did pick her. Extremely proud of Bayley. Now it's going to be interesting to see when she decides to cash in and on who she's going to be cashing in. So stay tuned for that. We will keep you guys updated on when Bayley decides to cash in the Money in the Bank. Alright, moving on to the very next match of the night. Rey Mysterio versus Samoa Joe. Our pick ended up winning this. This was a match that pretty much downgraded the pay-per-view a little bit because this is where mistakes started to be made.
And it was a little bit of controversy if you actually go through and watch the match, the way Mysterio wins. It was shocking because the ref pretty much screwed Joe over on this one.
Yeah, so Joe's shoulders are not down on the mat. He has one shoulder down and the other one is up, and you can clearly see it. Now, I understand they're saying the ref's view got obstructed. I don't really think so, because the ref was actually in the position where he was able to see Samoa Joe. But at the end of the day, Rey Mysterio ended up winning, and a win is a win. However, I don't think that's the way it was supposed to be planned.
Exactly.
A planned win.
Like you said, Mysterio was supposed to win, but I don't think that was the way he was supposed to win. I think that was a shocker. You saw it on Mysterio's face when he won. He's like, "Oh my God, I actually won!" And you saw it on Samoa Joe's like, "Wait, how did this happen?" So it was a little bit of controversy on that one. But yet again, I think it was a great match. I think Mysterio deserved it. I think he's in the better shape of his life ever since he came back.
He definitely is at the peak of his career. This was his opportunity, and I mean, after going down at WrestleMania in under 30 seconds or under 60 seconds, I think it was only right for this to happen. But also, Samoa Joe was so angry, he went right after Rey Mysterio, and not only that, he went right after him in front of Dominic. For those of you that don't know, Dominic is his son. So he pretty much punished Rey Mysterio in front of Dominic, forcing Dominic to watch everything go down. And I mean, obviously Dominic defenseless, unable to defend his father.
Yeah, and keep in mind, Dominic couldn't put his hands on Samoa Joe because he's not a WWE superstar, and because of liability reasons, I don't think he's 18 yet. He might be, he might not. I don't know his exact age.
Exactly. But very, very proud of Mysterio. Now it's interesting to see who goes after the United States Championship now that Rey Mysterio won it. Who on Raw could we potentially see face Rey Mysterio for the United States Championship?
That's a very interesting question. We could probably see Ricochet.
Potentially.
Some of the other superstars, but we'll see what's in store for Rey Mysterio. Hopefully he keeps a long title range
going forward. Okay. The Miz versus Shane McMahon. So our original pick for this was Miz because it was the obvious choice. It was like, this is where the storyline ends. You could continue to push it, and it looks like they are going to continue to push it. Maybe up until SummerSlam. I don't want it to last that long, but it can. Pretty much, Shane McMahon stole the victory. He slipped into a win, if you want to say it that way, because The Miz did such a fantastic job keeping him down and making sure he didn't get away, and at the end of the day he slipped away from him. He was at the top of the cage and he was holding on to him, and he grabbed him by the shirt, and there down goes.
He pretty much pulled his shirt off, and he was able to slip away into victory. But I gotta give credit to The Miz. The Miz dominated, I gotta say, 80% of the match. He was just on Shane McMahon, not letting him escape. He was brutal. They were able to introduce a steel chair into the match, which I think was a game changer. And just The Miz, it's more aggressive. I like this Miz.
Yeah, I definitely like this Miz. I feel like it's a more evolved, more determined, more focused Miz. I feel like he knows where he wants to go and how he's going to get there. I like this Miz, and hopefully this is the peak for Miz, you know. He goes on to become champion, because I believe we haven't seen him as champ since 2011, if I'm not mistaken.
This is a more focused Miz, and from what I've seen from him, he's very, very dangerous right now. Hopefully he keeps it up for the good of his career.
Exactly. And Shane, I mean, always going above and beyond, always wants to prove why, I guess, he's the best in the world. Yeah. And, I mean, he was given that gene pretty much where he goes out there and he is able to prove to you why he is one of the greatest and why he can continue to wrestle. And to me, he never disappoints in a match. I feel like he always has a fantastic match, no matter who you put him with. And it's always going to be great. And I feel like these two were able to demonstrate that in this match.
And again, Shane McMahon is able to outsmart Miz once again. Keep in mind, this is the second time. Well, he did it once at WrestleMania, and now here at Money in the Bank. So he's 2-0 against The Miz, and he's been the only one that's been able to get in The Miz's head, which is pretty much brilliant, and not anybody's able to do that.
He's playing those mind games with The Miz, and it's definitely working.
And The Miz hasn't been able to figure him out, and again, this is because it's a different Miz.
But The Miz is going to get a big win when he does finally defeat Shane McMahon. So, moving on to one of the most expected matches of the night, which was Becky Lynch versus Lacey Evans. So our pick for this was Becky Lynch. We obviously said she wasn't going to retain both championships, But we'll get into that a little bit later. So the first match, I feel Lacey Evans really showcased who she is and what she's capable of during this match. She proves herself against Becky Lynch, and at the end of the day, she lost. But her proving herself against Becky Lynch is what's gonna put her on the map.
Yeah, and then, like we had said, Lacey Evans had nothing to lose.
Exactly.
This was probably going to be the biggest match of her career so far, and what better way to do it against Becky Lynch? And she was pretty impressive at times, dominating Becky Lynch, taking her to the limit, and and was able to counter the Becky Lynch's
disarmer,
and that's what Lacey Evans did. She targeted the arm of Becky Lynch.
Exactly. She kept focused on that arm, and she was like, if I can focus and take out her arm, that gives me an advantage. That makes me superior to her.
So that shows that she really does her homework and analyzes her opponents.
And the moment Becky Lynch was able to capitalize, you already know she was able to defeat Lacey Evans. But you also have to give credit to Becky Lynch because she did put over Lacey Evans. She did such a great job. She made Lacey Evans look like a star. And she is a star, obviously. But she gave her a fantastic match. Now, what's next for Lacey Evans?
Before we get into that, and Lacey Evans wasn't able to connect the woman's right. I think if she would have been able to connect it during the match, it would have been a whole different story.
You think it would have been a game changer?
Yeah.
I can see that. I mean, we have seen what's happened before when Becky has taken a woman's right.
And Becky Lynch was able, to try to did whatever she could to try to avoid it.
Definitely. All right. Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair. So this is where it starts to get very, very interesting because Charlotte, she's smart. She comes out right after this match and she knew damn well Becky Lynch was not 100%. So what does she do? I want my title match right now. So she comes out and this match is happening next.
Not only that, but it's the surprise factor. Because Becky Lynch was thinking that she was going to face Charlotte Flair later on throughout the show. Not right away, not having back-to-back matches. So that was pretty smart on behalf of Charlotte coming out and surprising her and be like, no, you know what? We're going right now.
Yeah, and that's why she is considered one of the greatest female wrestlers. Because of little things like that.
And you could tell that Becky thought about it too. She's like, wait, I don't think it's a good idea for me to go right now. We'll go later on in the show. But Becky Lynch, being the man, she decides to step into the ring with Charlotte Flair.
And it ended up biting her because at the end of the day, Charlotte was able to beat Becky Lynch. And this is where it starts to get very, very interesting. But before we get into that, let's talk a little bit about the match.
Keep in mind, this was Charlotte Flair's first victory over Becky Lynch.
Yes.
Very first victory. If we're not mistaken, Becky Lynch had been, 4-0 against Charlotte Flair? 4-0, maybe 3-0?
Yeah.
So she hasn't been able to get the win. But Charlotte Flair was able to pull it off tonight in Money in the Bank.
The match was pretty even, though. You have to admit, it was pretty even. And especially because they both know each other extremely, extremely well. We already know that. We've seen this match countless amount of times, and every single time, the match is fantastic. But I feel like this time, Charlotte had the advantage in every single shape and form. Because Becky had just competed in a match. She didn't even get the opportunity to go backstage, take a breather, and come back. She had to fight back-to-back, and that is something that Charlotte Flair took advantage of to the max. But after this match is over, well, not even before it's over, Lacey Evans decides to hit her with the women's right. So she technically helped Charlotte Flair become the SmackDown Women's Champion for the 9th time. This is her 9th women's title.
Yeah, and if you go back to our previous podcast yesterday, which was the predictions, which is already on our website.
Yes.
On YouTube, iTunes, so go ahead and check it out. We had mentioned that someone was going to get involved. We didn't know who. We threw some names out, and sure enough, someone did get involved, which was Lacey Evans, and she was a huge factor of Charlotte Flair winning her 9-time Women's Championship.
So now, the thing here is this. After this match was over and Charlotte was able to beat Becky Lynch, we got to see Becky Lynch go right after Lacey Evans. She pretty much targeted her. So what does Charlotte do? She comes out and she helps out Lacey Evans, and they both started working together to take out the man.
I want to say one thing. I really like that tag team of Charlotte Flair and Lacey Evans. When they both decide to join forces, they're going to be an unstoppable team, and I don't see nobody taking the tag titles away from them.
Definitely not.
It's probably going to be one of the best teams ever.
Yeah, that is going to be a dominant team. It's going to be brutal, and it's going to be one of the greatest tag teams.
And not only that, but right now that they're not tag team, they seem to be working together and they're on the same page.
So imagine when they actually are a team.
So that's a team you have to keep an eye on. So Iconics, keep an eye on that team.
Exactly. They might not be on the same brand, but remember, the wild card rule gives everybody an advantage. So then, as Lacey Evans and Charlotte Flair are targeting Becky Lynch, none other than Bayley comes out. And she comes out, and I am like, no. This is not the time for you to do this. Keep in mind, Lacey Evans was right there. And she had been helping Charlotte. She had been on her side. So we were like, okay, Bayley's out. She's helping out Becky
Lynch.
She clears pretty much the entire ring. And then she decides she's cashing in her Money in the Bank. And Armando and I were like, Bayley,
no, it's bad
what are
time.
you doing?
We said it was bad timing just because, like you said, Lacey Evans was there. And it could have been the possibility of like, okay, you attacked me now, Bayley, I'm going to go after you. So, if you analyze that, it was a risk. But at the end of the day, Bayley was able to come out victorious by cashing in her Money in the Bank and being the new Women's SmackDown champion.
Extremely proud. A very, very well-deserved moment. It was about time. She hadn't been champion in 2 years, and now she is. And hey, she's going to be running the SmackDown Women's Division.
Now I hope that she's able to keep a long title range. And I think this is what she needed, the transition over to SmackDown.
Yeah, it's definitely a successful transition, successful cash-in. Extremely, extremely proud. And yes, a lot of people are mad because Charlotte got her 9, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. She's not the champion.
It is
Bayley is. So it worked out for everybody because for me, it was like, well, you're not going to have Becky retain, right? It made sense. She wasn't going to retain. Charlotte was not going to have a 5-0 against Becky Lynch. It just wasn't going to happen. So how do you fix it? Bayley, the Money in the Bank cash-in. It happened. It worked out. It's perfect. Exactly. 100%. All right, moving on to Roman Reigns versus Elias.
This kind of wasn't... It was a match, but it really wasn't a match because it just lasted It was super short. Elias pretty much did a sneak attack on Roman Reigns and broke his guitar on him.
Yeah, and so he comes out and, he's performing, and then he's about to leave because in his mind, there's no match against Roman Reigns because he already took him out because he hit him with the guitar in the back. But then Roman comes out, he Superman punches him, and then they go into the ring, the ref rings the bell, spear, 1, 2, 3, it's over for Elias.
Yeah, so it really wasn't a match. Again, Roman Reigns was expected to win this match, and he did.
Yep. That's all we're going to get into that match because there really is nothing much to it. All right. Seth Rollins versus AJ Styles for the Universal Championship. One of the most looking forward matches, I think.
Anticipated matches, I'm sure, for everybody. And the match did not disappoint.
It did not.
It started off kind of slow. I think both of the competitors were kind of testing themselves, see what each other had got, and trying to loosen up. And once they loosened up and they got comfortable with each other, they just took off, and it was an amazing match.
But I also feel like since they are so evenly matched, at the beginning it was kind of like, okay, what do I do in order to get past this superstar? Because for everything that AJ had, Seth had offense for it. For everything that Seth had, AJ had offense for it. So they had to kind of figure out a way to make it work out for both of them. But also keep in mind, AJ Styles had the advantage simply because of the experience that he has. And we saw that in this match. There were times where Seth Rollins would be dominating and you were like, okay, well, that's it for AJ. And he would come up with a super cool reversal, and then next thing you know, the match is flipped.
Yeah, so during Seth Rollins was going to do a curse stomp, and all of a sudden, AJ Styles turns it into a Styles Clash. And I thought that was over. I thought that was it, because once he connected, I was like, oh my god, he's going to do it. And Seth Rollins was able to kick out.
Let me just say, that is one of the coolest things. I think one of the coolest RKOs, and I know this doesn't play out, is when Randy Orton countered it at WrestleMania 31 when Seth was going to do the curb stomp. Now I think this is one of the coolest things when he pretty much turns the curb stomp into a Styles Clash. That is extremely cool, and I'm telling you, experience is what plays a huge factor in a lot of these matches. And I feel like AJ towards the end of the match started to realize, I'm not going to pin Seth Rollins. I have to make him tap out. And we got to see a little bit of that in this match.
Yeah, definitely. He realized that Seth Rollins was going to be an easy match, and probably the only way that he was going to be able to defeat him was going to be via submission.
And Seth Rollins, he knew he had to constantly stay on AJ Styles. He knew that if he gave him opportunity, that's it. AJ Styles was going to be able to capitalize on him. So what did he do? He stayed on him and tried not to give him as much opportunity for him to be able to capitalize on him. He knew what was at stake.
I think both of these superstars were impressed with each other, and not only that, but Seth Rollins, I think, has finally met his match. Someone
Definitely.
that could compete with him physically and athletic-wise in the ring.
And mentally as well,
Yep.
because it takes a lot of mental strength for you to be able to do what you do, and I feel like now this is the perfect match. They have found each other, and we got to see this at the end of the match when AJ Styles, yes, he lost, but he goes back in the ring. He shakes shakes Seth Rollins' hand, and they showed each other the form of respect, and that is something these both men have earned, the respect of each other in the WWE universe.
And I don't think this is the end of this feud. I see this feud going on maybe up until SummerSlam, if anything, just because the match was good. It kind of reminds me of the feud between Dolph and Seth Rollins, where we saw just week after week after week, and in a couple pay-per-views.
And every single match that they're going to have is going to be 100 times better than what the first one was. So they set the limit. The next one, you already know it's going to go above and beyond that match. Okay, moving on to Kofi Kingston versus Kevin Owens for the WWE Championship.
Another anticipated exciting match. A huge test for Kofi Kingston. I believe it was his first pay-per-view title defense since WrestleMania.
Yeah.
None other than with the great opponent against Kevin Owens.
Kevin Owens, very, very dangerous. We got to see that throughout this match. He kept control of the match pretty much for 80% of it. And every single time, he was finding some way to use power to his advantage. Power definitely helped him out. And not only that, he's extremely brutal. He was out to hurt Kofi Kingston. That is what he wanted, and that is at the end of the day what he did.
He wanted to make a statement to Kofi Kingston that, like, you got lucky, you're not championship material. And Kofi Kingston proved him wrong and was able to pick up the victory.
Definitely, 100%. Alright, moving on to the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. To me, this was a show stealer. I feel like you have to give the credit to all these men. They gave their heart and soul into this match. Amazing match. Probably one of the best matches I've seen for Money in the Bank. Or ladder matches.
These guys pretty much put their body on the line, and it's amazing how a lot of these guys were able to walk out of the arena. Or how are they going to be able to walk out of the arena after this brutal match? I'll tell you, Andrade is super amazing in the ladder match. There was this one move that he did on Finn Balor. It was just show stealer.
And speaking of Finn Balor, I don't know how Finn Balor is going to even be walking for the next couple of weeks, because that man, out of everybody, in my opinion, I feel like he took the most physical punishment, because he was put through ladders, time and time again by like 4 different people, and it was just like, dude, how are you even standing now at this point?
Not only that, but he took a lot of punishment to his back with Andrade, with Ricochet, with everybody. That I feel that everybody was just targeting his back, and that ended up pretty much costing him.
The most experienced competitor in this entire match, though, was by far Randy Orton. He was picking and choosing when he wanted to be a part of the match and who he was going to be targeting.
But keep in mind that there was only 7 superstars competing, not 8, because Sami Zayn had gotten attacked in the locker room by, we didn't know who. Everybody thought it was Braun Strowman. He says he didn't do it, so he got banned from the ring. That leaves you with, I thought it was going to be Bray Wyatt.
Same.
Maybe Aleister Black.
Well, I didn't think Aleister Black was the one that attacked him. I was telling this to Armando. I was like, well, Bray Wyatt more than likely attacked them, but I feel like Aleister Black is the one that's going to be the one that replaces him, and at the end of the day, no. So there was only 7 superstars in this match, which we never got a replacement.
And that's why Randy Orton would kind of keep himself out of the match, because it was pretty much odd numbers on the match.
Well, I don't think that was the reason why. I just feel like he's more experienced. He's the one out of everybody that has been in the Money in the Bank matches. So he was like, you know what? I'm just going to stay away. I'm going to let everybody handle their business. Everybody's going to do the work. I'm going to come in and I am going to do what I have to do when I have to do it. in order to progress, and that is what he did.
And we did see some alliances during the match too, like we said, McIntyre and Baron Corbin. It was gonna get to that point where they were gonna turn on each other, and sure enough, Baron Corbin did.
Yes, 100%. He was the one that turned on McIntyre first, and then he ended up paying for it.
And I don't blame him, because it's every man for himself in these matches.
And hey, if he was gonna win the Money in the Bank, it was gonna be him, and he was gonna cash it in whenever he wants. It wasn't for McIntyre. Yeah. You know what I mean? And Ricochet, incredible. See, here's the thing. Ricochet, Ali, and Andrade are built for these type of matches.
You could throw Finn
and you
Balor.
Can throw Finn Balor in there as well. Sorry, I forgot about him. You can throw him in there as well. They are built for these matches, and it definitely showed in this match. You can definitely see that. Andrade was incredible. So was Ali. I'm extremely impressed by those two.
Andrade pretty much was the one with the big saves throughout the match. If someone was about to go get the briefcase, out of nowhere he'll come out and do a drop kick off the top rope into the ladder and knock it down. So he was the one that pretty much made the crucial saves.
Yes, and Ali using his athleticism to his advantage to the max.
Speaking of Ali, Ali was the last superstar standing, and he was climbing his way up the ladder. He pretty much had the briefcase up in his hand, and all of a sudden, someone's music shows up, and not only that, the Beast decides to show up and interfere in the match. What a surprise.
Yep, and he takes out Ali, and he became Mr. Money in the Bank. So now, interesting, who does he go up against? Seth Rollins, or does he face Kofi Kingston? Because so far, keep in mind, when the Superstar Shakeup did come, he never got drafted. He really never did. But at the end of the day, you never know, because he wasn't even part of the roster. Everybody thought he was gone, and now he just comes back, wins the Money in the Bank, and it kind of just leaves us wondering, where does he go next?
Yeah, and no matter what brand he's in, keep in mind, he could use the wild card effect and be on either brand.
Yes, definitely.
So we'll see where, like I said, it's shocking. I didn't expect Brock Lesnar to show up, but at the same time, tomorrow I'm pretty sure everybody's going to be tuned in to see what he's going to do with the Money in the Bank. If he's going to cash it in that night, or maybe Tuesday, we'll see, but it's you must watch SmackDown or Raw.
Definitely, 100%. Alright, let us know in the comments below what you thought of Money in the Bank. Tweet us, Instagram us, whatever you want. Become a sibling today. Let everybody know. Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. We'll be back tomorrow with a brand new episode. And for those of you that do not know what WWS stands for,
Wrestling with Siblings. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you guys tomorrow for the Raw episode after the Money in the Bank, and we'll see what Brock Lesnar decides to do with the Money in the Bank, if he shows up or he goes off and comes back later. We'll see.